My name is Wendy Pitkin and I'm here interviewing Marie Dalton for the Bay Island Community Services Seniors Week. What brought you to the islands and when did this occur?
8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter lived on the island with her grandchildren. My husband got sick and we just both decided it was time to do something about rather than work all the time. So we both decided to retire early, which I came to work at the community centre for my 15 hours a week. And we bought a house and shifted over here.
Okay,
I
so
love it.
the next question was, did you buy a house or build a home? So
I
bought one, so already established. So what was life like on the islands when you arrived?
I'm from a country area in New South Wales, very well out in the bush, so it just reminded me of home. And I still feel that way even though it's got very popular and a bit over popular, but the people, it's about like going back to a country town, and majority of it still is. We have new people, that's progress, but we brought on the island the way the island was, and we're quite happy the way the island is. So, yeah.
Okay. So what made you get involved in working in the community?
Well, I started, as I said, because I wasn't old enough. I was only 64. I couldn't retire, so I had to do my time. I started off going over to Redland Hospital as a pink lady, and an opportunity came up, and I was introduced to Tony. And they were just I don't know whether they just started or were starting the 15 hours a week here. So I decided to join here, and I was here for about 2 years, maybe 3 years. I stayed on after I retired. And and then we had the fires in 2017, and that's when I got involved in the Champions.
Okay. Which leads into the next question, which was, what type of community involvement have you been involved in?
Well, as I said, I worked here and enjoyed it. What happened in 2016, I was still working here, and when the Russell came alight, Tony asked me to ring around some girls that worked here, and Robin was one of them, and we mustered up enough girls to go down to the front to open the hall up. Because everyone was coming here because they were evacuated from their homes, but this is wasn't a designated area, and because it's close to the bush, it wasn't very practical. So we went down and opened up the evacuation centre, and people came and we made sandwiches and sort of stayed there until everyone was right to go home. And that's what made me got involved. The mayor had a meeting after that. And I went to the meeting and listened, and they more or less said how well it was well run. And I got up, because I'm an ex-firey from New South Wales, I got up and I said, that's not true. I said, nobody knew where to go. I said, Tony had someone directing them from here to there so that they knew where to go. But there was just nothing, no structure whatsoever. And about 3 or 4 days later, she rang me and said, if we were to form a group, would you be interested in joining and sort of keeping an eye on it? I said, fine, if we get the training. And that's where it all started, Community Champions.
Okay. Have you enjoyed living here over the years?
Yes, wouldn't leave.
So you still got family still here?
My daughter's now building on Lamb Island,
but
she lived on Russell. My 2 grandchildren are now 20 and 22, and they were brought up here. And it's just a different lifestyle.
What do you think you have contributed to the community?
Making people more aware that we're all, even though we're on an island, we're still vulnerable. We go out and do the markets here. We haven't done a lot over the last couple of years because of, but meeting more new people and making them aware, because they don't realise we found, like, we we were in it in 2016. It took 2 hours to get any help. They don't realise, even though we're only 40 minutes from Brisbane, we're on our own. And if those ferries stop, we're even. And I mean, I've been lucky. I've got probably 16 community champions on Russell. I've got the most champions, but I try and keep my girls informed on what's going on. We keep fairly active. We're just starting to come back out of the nest.
The shell,
yeah. So I don't do a lot. I mean, when we were on lockdown, I was doing shopping for a few people, especially the ones. Couple of people that had cancer and didn't want to go out because of the when it was really bad. I just went down. They left their stuff on their verandas. I went and done their shopping, brought it back, and sort of knocked on the door and said, "Hello, I'm here. I'm back. Goodbye." A little bit like that. I'm not probably as active as I could be in the community, but I do enough with the community champions. Like we're off to Cara this weekend, and the beauty of it is we're building more and more champions. So if we have to open up again, all of us are fully qualified. We've connected with the Red Cross as well. I've been to Stratty twice with fires and opened up the evacuation centre. I've been to Courchella recently this year for 5 days and help run the evacuation centre up there, and I've been to Townsville. So whenever there's a disaster, I more or less go from champion to Red Cross, and the training that the council give us and the training that Red Cross, I've got no doubt that I can go anywhere in a disaster and to help a community, whether it be our community or any community.
Have there been any memorable events on the island?
Probably a few, but that's putting me on the spot. I'm trying to think. We go to all the events on the island. When I'm not doing community champions, I'm not a person that does craft, or I'm quite happy to do my own company, and I've got a husband that's got cancer, so he's not real well. But we go wherever there is a community event. We try to make ourselves available, and we're more to get the feed out there. That if you're on the island, you can still join us. We don't meet every week. We have every 2 months we have a morning tea on the 4. We've got camp champions on 4 islands. We've just recruited champions on Stratty, and we've just recruited Coochie Mudlows. So they're the ones. Probably the most I keep remembering is when I could help people in when we had the virus, especially the vulnerable. And to be honest, that's what we'd like. But under government law, we can't get a list of vulnerable on the island.
No.
Because of the Privacy Act. So we've got to rely on word of mouth. So when we go to a market, someone might say, "Oh, look, I've got a lady down, such and such street. She's on her own." We can go and drop a poster down there and let her know that like I put my name and number on it if she's vulnerable. But again, we don't advertise that we'll do their shopping and that, because that's then stepping on other organisations on the islands, and we don't want to come involved in that, because we're mainly for any disaster. We've done, when the water was shortage, we've done Cara, Lamb and Macleay when they had no water. When we had a problem here, we opened up our evacuation centre for people to come down. I think it was electricity, and when we were having water trouble, we opened up with fresh water down at the evacuation centre. which is the front of the.
Yeah, the hall down there. Yeah.
That's the only place it can be, because if we've got to all get off the island, where do you got to go?
Down there.
Yeah. And this one was good, and so is the one at the football ground.
The resilience.
But if you get trapped in there,
got nowhere to go.
You got nowhere to go. So that's why they made that one the prime place.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your time today.